What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel, and it's been a minute since I did a full scheme here on the channel.
My God! Okay, it's happening.
So today's video is going to be a defensive scheme for beginners in Madden 24. If you guys are struggling to get stops, if you want to get back to the fundamentals of defense in this game, kind of learn some tricks of the trade, this video is going to have a little bit of everything for you. So let's go ahead and get straight into the topic. We're going to be looking at the 4-3 under, and we're going to be running this formation. You can choose to run it regular, but we're actually going to be running it with auto flip off. We're going to flip it. And the reason that you want to flip it is that you're going to get this overhang rusher on the left side of the screen. Before we get into any actual setups here, if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you guys subscribe here to the channel, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment below to help push this video out in the algorithm. I appreciate all the support that you guys have shown here on the channel this year, and a comment would help this video reach other players just like you looking for tips and tutorial content. All right, let's go ahead and start off with our personnel. It is very important with this defense that we are going to run 3 lurk artist linebackers. This is the ability of the season. You guys know in early October, they patched the game, brought the lurk artist ability, which is a mix of lurker and pick artist for linebackers to allow them to animate and even jump higher than some DBs do in this game for spectacular catch interceptions. This is a 1 AP ability in Ultimate Team. You should absolutely equip it. And in this defense, we're going to use 3 of them. So I'm going to put Patrick Willis at outside backer, and I'm going to put Dave Robinson at outside backer. My middle linebacker user, depending on who I'm using, it'll be either Robinson or Kuechly on most downs, but I'll have Luke Kuechly in the middle. Now, on the outside with this defense, pick artist. I like to have 2 pick artists. You're going to want them as your outside corners. Up top, you're going to want height and zone coverage. Very important. I don't recommend pick artist for safeties in this game. I think height gets the job done. I really like Paul Krause. I really like Derwin James. I think those are the 2 best in the game as of right now, according to this on November the 1st. So that is going to be my depth chart. Here in the middle of your defense is going to be what I would consider to be a rotation. You're going to move guys around frequently. So you might start the game off with your regular front 4, and then in the middle, you're going to do some D-line subbing or some DE swap packages or whatever it is you got to do to move players around. It's important that you guys move your defensive line around because you don't want resistance to be built up against them. So DE flip, D-line sub, LB rush, whatever it is you guys want to do to get new bodies in, feel free to do any of this because it's all going to be kind of some gap blitzing and some disengage level breakdowns. Let's quickly get into our coach settings. With this, we are going to set our match coverage on for any play in which we want to run match coverage. This could be your quarters. This could be your cover 3 matching principles. We've talked about how that behaves a little bit here on the channel, but for the most part, you only have quarters. There are some matching behaviors that you guys can get out of your vertical hooks, which are found in a cover 2 play. Although this doesn't have a standard Tampa 2, we can create that on the fly if we want to. This is still going to be a very aggressive defense. I would honestly say that you're going to base out of the play cover 4 quarters, and we are going to set our flats to 30 and our curl flats to 5 as a general starting point. As you guys play the game, some players are going to learn how to beat this defense in general, and that's going to require that you make adjustments to them. So obviously you guys will want to adjust these based off of down and distance and tendency and all those things, but this is a good starting point. So let's go ahead and take the field here. We're going to be running the play cover 4 quarters. Now, the whole goal of this defense is disengage pressure. You guys have probably seen a fair amount of the 4-3 even 6-1 at this point. There are a lot of defenses in this game that are 4 down lineman based that when you pinch them, it bunches up in the middle. In fact, you can see right here, even with full resistance darn near to all these interior linemen, you're going to see that we still cover the center and both guards on this play. We have Strahan, who is head up on the offensive tackle, and we have our overhang rusher here off of the left. Starting off, kind of a general base rush for this defense. We are going to crash down on this. This is really going to help because what you can do with this is basically have these guys trying to phase through the middle. With this, you can also at any point in time, if you really want to get the offensive tackle to prevent himself from, sliding down and picking up Garrett as he's trying to punch through the middle. You could always blitz Kuechly from depth. You don't have to. You could always leave him in the hook as well. I would recommend for sure blitzing at least whoever you're going to use her and coming down to the line of scrimmage as far as you can on this play, because what ends up occurring a lot of times is you get these random guys jumbling up, and you see the base rush is really quick through the middle. You have multiple players flashing the gaps, the A gaps, the B gaps, and this is very, very scary for a lot of players out there. This is just a 4-man rush, and you're going to be able to, you see right here at multiple points, it looks like we have a B gap. It got nano detected. You get a lot of jumbling and shedding through the middle. You see that we're pushing the pocket from the inside. Pretty much everyone on this play sheds, and as you saw, there was full resistance darn near to everyone to start the video. So this will be one of those types of little base rushes that can still get home. So let's go ahead here and run this again. This time I'm going to use our Luke. Again, we're still going to crash down. I'll probably blitz my user just to kind of add a little bit of a targeting effect. And you'll see here when we run this right here, we're getting a little bit of a sheddy action, kind of jumbling around. It's not always going to be instant to the quarterback. I would honestly say that we're going to break down a lot of different stuff here in terms of just options you have with your defensive front. We'll also get to coverage here in a second. I tend to have more success with this when we are lined up over here and using on the weak side of the formation. Kind of consider this the strong side because you have 4 coverage defenders. And then on this side of the center, we only have 3 coverage defenders. We'll get into more coverage setups here momentarily. But again, with this, you kind of come down here, you're going to see that you start to get a lot of gap pressure. This is actually going to get really insane here in a second. So just hold your horses, because what we're going to do off of this is we are actually going to pinch this line, and this is where we're going to get our A gap. This is our potential D tackle A gap. With this particular defense, we are going to add in a 5th rusher. And then what I would actually recommend doing is based off your zone drops, this could be your 5-yard setting. So you could put Kuechly into a 5-yard. You could always go ahead and put, a 20 or a 30 out here on this side. You could always change this guy into a half, to kind of protect yourself. But what we're going to do is we are going to walk down with our user to this edge right here, and just standing out here tends to get this to be kind of a scary looking gap pressure. A lot of times you will actually notice that the guy comes in free, especially when you start to kind of basically blitz your user. So I'm going to go ahead and global blitz left and right, and I'm going to come down here and kind of stand here on the edge. But you'll notice quite often with this defense that when you're sending 5, it really collapses the pocket. You can add in that 5th rusher. Sometimes you're going to get gap pressure, just depending. If you end up wanting to, you can actually send just the regular without pinching. You can just send the extra linebacker off of the left side. If you crash up, a lot of times this will get B gap from Garrett. You could go ahead and set up kind of a setup that would look like this. This would allow you to kind of have an inside out defense where you're going to have these outside zones. You can have them playing, the outside quarter. You could also zone drop and play Mabel on both sides if you want to. It would look something more like this. But in general, with this defense, you're going to end up with more of an edge pressure that should come off the left side or potentially through the B gap. So again, you see right here how we're getting that pressure off the edge. We can kind of guard the drags, the flats on the left side. We would use to the right side, and that's going to allow you to get some pressure as well. Now, another thing that's really cool about this is we can actually go ahead and pinch our defensive line down and blitz Robinson through the kind of a loop angle because we're crashing inside. A lot of times with this, if I want to send 6, I will actually go ahead and just press the coverage because you don't really want them to think that they can throw quick to the flat. We would probably leave the flat open in this regard, but a lot of times with this particular defense, it does a nice job at getting either a loop pressure, or sometimes they'll block the loop and let a guy come right through the gap. So it just depends on a couple of different factors, but in general, you could also kind of stand here behind the center. A lot of times that kind of opens things up, allows them to push the pocket. You see right there, that's a nice loop. You don't even need to send 6 with this. You really, if you wanted to, could pinch and just blitz the right of screen and then kind of hang out here. A lot of times that'll be enough for that guy to loop around. You even start to see disengages occur with this. You kind of get this feel for this front that it's kind of chaos. It's not like you need to do a specific setup. It just kind of makes guys shed or just target weird. I mean, you see right here, we're just crashing down and bringing a linebacker from the second level, and it basically opens up a disengage A gap, and it won't get nano detected because this guy's already been blocked. So you see how that behaved right there with this particular approach. You also, if you want to, might go ahead and crash your defensive line down and that's going to open up a B gap loop for Robinson. You know, it's not necessarily designed to be just a 100% successful blitz, but you see right here, we get clean B gap from this look. So there's literally a million different things that you guys can do with this. It all kind of revolves around crashing the line inside and blitzing an extra linebacker, whether it's the edge linebacker or the guy that's at the second level. I mean, you really can't beat this type of production out of a setup. This is a 5-man instant B gap pressure. The tackle has no idea what's going on because he's got to respect Patrick Willis as a threat off the edge, which allows that guy to come in through. And then of course, from there, it's all about setting up your coverage. So again, kind of a base setup that you guys might utilize is just kind of pinch and crash your line down, and then go ahead and set up your Mabel coverage look. This is going to help you guys out significantly with this particular defensive meta right now being so Mabel centric. This is really good because if they were to decide to throw quick to the left flat, we've got Patrick Willis hanging out down there. If they decide to throw quick to the running back out of the backfield, Robinson's going to run out there really quickly. All the while, we're still getting kind of a jumble setup right there where, you know, a guy can pinball through at any point in time. It really gets home consistently at about, I would say, give or take 2.5, 3 seconds on most reps. Now, of course, as well with this, what's really interesting is that we can spread the defensive line. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to maybe create edge pressure with Willis, or if we're feeling like it, we could actually bring Luke Kuechly through the B gap. So with this, you would probably come down and stand right here. So that way the center kind of looks at us. You see right there, we get a pretty quick shed. A lot of this is all about targeting issues and letting guys go to pick up gap pressure or a looper or someone coming off the edge. And there's just no one there to receive the handoff. You know, a lot of times people are like, well, this is fluky. I mean, this is how Madden plays. You see right here, the center's getting depth to receive the looper, and we get a quick instant inside shed, and there's no one there to receive him. I mean, this is as good as gap pressure at this point. And that's how this defense plays. Keep in mind, all the while, I haven't changed anybody. Look at the resistance on this play. We are just kicking the tail of the offensive line. It's when you start to put in those fresh bodies that things are going to really open up for you guys, and it's going to feel like, you know, you can do whatever you want, because it's true. It's basically how it kind of behaves. So I'll put in just an entirely new line. Let's move our front four. Let's go back to our quarters call. And again, here with this, we're gonna just kind of pinch. We're gonna crash. This time we have the linebacker on the other side. Doesn't really matter too darn much. I'll kind of loop Willis around, maybe play, you know, Mabel coverage here, do something maybe a little bit like this, and I'll cover the left side when the ball snaps. So I'm gonna kind of come down here, stand down here. You see, like, look, we actually had a free B gap, which disengaged and gave us an A gap on top of that. We could have had 2 guys coming in through the gaps untouched on this play. I mean, you see right here, clean B gap. Oh, we're going to block him. Let's make it an A gap. You'll live with either of those 2 results on this play. Meanwhile, again, you're just going to change where your zones are dropping, which brings me to my next point. There is a way to get away with rushing just 3 in this game. If you guys need a little bit of extra help with this game, I would highly recommend that you guys go over to my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, where I'll show you guys how to get consistent pressure in sheds just rushing 3. It is so big to be able to rush 3 players and know that they're going to get off their blocks, allowing you to drop 8 in coverage like you saw just right there. So if you guys are looking for more tips and tutorial content, a little bit higher level breakdown, if this is something that appeals to you, you like what you're hearing, maybe you've never watched the channel before, I've got so much more over on Gridiron Game Plans. You guys can unlock everything on the website for $9.95 per month. I'm constantly updating the vault. We have well over 100 vault tips already this season in less than 3 months of the game being out. We've had 8 offensive and defensive game plans, one of which got patched, so we technically have 7 on the website right now. That's still well above and beyond what I normally put out from a game plan standpoint, and we're always looking to update our schemes on the website. Make sure you guys also check out our Discord channel, where we have live lab sessions every single week. In fact, our last one was just last night. It was a great session, so make sure you guys go check that one out as well. But that is going to do it for today's video, guys. A little bit of pressure look, a little bit of coverage help you guys out with defending the most popular defenses while still getting to the quarterback. Something a little bit off the cuff, a little different for you guys than what a lot of other channels are putting out. This isn't my primary defense, but it actually falls in line with what the meta is of the 4-down line, pinch, and crash inside. And I even mentioned this in some of my 4-3 even 6-1 videos. I said that there were other 4-down lineman defenses beyond the 4-3 even 6-1 that could do a lot of what 6-1 does, but maybe even just a little bit better. And this is kind of what I was alluding to. So I hope this helps some of you guys out there that are maybe without a defensive scheme. I promise we'll get you to the quarterback more, give you a little bit of a Mabel coverage, even though that's meta at this point, to kind of install behind it. And I hope that this will get you some more stops. So until tomorrow, this is Zan. Get in the lab in. Good luck.